Hi, and thank you for joining us on Focus on Hope. My name is Eve Moffett. My guest is Casey Rooney. Hi, Casey.
Hi, Eve. How you doing?
I'm doing
Good,
great.
good.
What's going on in the economic development perspective of Cottonwood and Verde Valley?
Well, it's interesting that your program is called Focus on Hope because I deal with a program every day of my life called Focus on Success. So we have a 5-year economic development strategy that we put together in Cottonwood, and that's called Focus on Success. And so we've been working on this for 5 years, and we've got 7 focus areas. And the focus areas deal with things like tourism, the wine industry, Old Town, sustainability, and there's a couple others. There were 7 focus areas, and we've been working on those focus areas for 5 years. Now,
Yes.
so we've been through the 5-year plan, and we've met most of our goals. And now what we're going to start working on is another 5-year plan. So we're just getting ready to start planning that, and that's going to happen in another week or so. We're going to get together and we're going to talk about it. But
You're going to get together with.
we're going to have a group of people that the same kind of group of people that we put together 5 years ago to put the plan together.
Okay.
And now we're going to start with a brand new plan because we've reached most of our goals in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So I'm real happy about that. And it's all about partnerships and people working together. I don't do it all by myself, you know. I'm the economic development director for the city of Cottonwood. And I have been empowered by the community to go work on economic development. I was the first economic development director for the city.
Okay.
So that is my job. And now, so you're the folks that are watching today, just so they understand, I want them to know that economic development is about bringing in, the definition of economic development is jobs, but not just jobs, it's better jobs for people in our community. And creating wealth for people in our community. So jobs leads to wealth. Wealth leads to a better quality of life for our citizens. So that's what I focus on every day of my life is a better quality of life, jobs, and wealth for our citizens. And it's been a real challenge, Eve, I got to tell you. I mean, when I started my job 8 years ago.
In Cottonwood, I guess
In
it would be.
Well, the economy, you know, remember what it was like 8 years ago. The economy was going into a free fall. It was a terrible economy. And it just got worse. I mean, it just went boom, 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 boom. But at the same time that the economy went down into the tank, fortunately, Old Town Cottonwood, we put a lot of emphasis into Old Town because we grabbed the low-hanging fruit. Everything else was going down. And I'd like to say, hey, let's grab hold of it and bring it right back up. But it was such a rapid free fall that we put a lot of our eggs into the tourism industry.
Okay.
We had missed the tourism industry. In the past, you know, tourists would come from international tourists and people from all over the country and the state would come to Sedona.
Yeah.
Then from Sedona, they would go to Jerome. And they would drive right bypass Old Town. We knew we had a gem in Old Town, but we didn't wrap our heads around it and wrap our hearts and minds around it to make it successful. Till the economy started going down, and then we said we need to wrap our heads around the tourism industry, and we did. And now you see Old Town, it's a huge success.
Oh, it's nice.
You know, we've got like 13 restaurants, we've got wine tasting rooms, we got a microbrewery coming in, we got retail, all this great activity going on that never used to be going on. So we're real pleased with that side of our economy. And for 5 years, our plan was, you know, to focus on that, to focus on sustainability, to focus on jobs, and we're going to continue to focus on those things. But now that the economy is starting to get a little bit better,
A little bit better, yes.
we're going to start focusing on some other elements of the economy, like, you know, entrepreneurship. we're all about entrepreneurship in the Verde Valley. We have to be, because we know that Apple Computers and General Motors and Intel aren't going to, these big, huge corporations aren't going to come to Cottonwood. But there could be smaller suppliers to these big corporations that want to be in Cottonwood. So we're really wrapping our arms around the entrepreneurial community, the small business owner. And I think it's, that whole thing is really important too. I think another point that I want to make for your listeners is that it's so important to support your local businesses.
Yes.
I am all about local. So, for instance, today coming here, I drove right by a nationwide chain coffee shop. I didn't stop there. Although I love them to death, they hire some people that make decent livings, and I appreciate that. But you know where they're, at the end of the day, when they put their money in the bank at the end of the day, it automatically gets transferred out of our community to New York or Chicago or wherever their home is. Versus in your own community here, well, you live in Cottonwood, but in Camp Verde, there's a beautiful little coffee shop here called Thanks a Latte. Now, that coffee shop is right downtown. And the people that own that coffee shop live in Camp Verde. The people that work in that shop live in Camp Verde. When, at the end of the day, when the guy that owns that, or lady, or whoever that owns that, it happens to be a man, I believe, at the end of the day, he takes his money out of the cash register, he takes it to a local bank, and he pays his local employees. The money all stays in the community. So that's the difference between, and I'm not anti-chain, don't get me wrong, but another example, I came here and found this place first. Then I drove to downtown Camp Verde, and I went to Ace Hardware. And I'm pretty sure that Ace Hardware that store is owned by somebody local.
Yes.
Versus going to a massive home improvement store where, again, at the end of the day, the money goes into a bank and then it immediately gets transferred to a New York or Chicago or wherever, So it's so important to buy local because that money stays in your community. It supports the community bank. It supports the local employees. It supports the owner of the store so he can grow his business. That's what I mean about entrepreneurship. Let's support our local community. Let's try to bring new businesses into our community. And let's help these small entrepreneurs get off the ground. Now that leads me to another discussion. I am the Economic Development Director for the City of Cottonwood. I'm sitting in Camp Verde right now. Camp Verde has Steve Ayers, who is the Economic Development Director for Camp Verde.
Okay.
And we have another economic development person in Clarkdale, Jody Filardo. We all work together really close. My main responsibility, I know where my check comes from, it comes from Cottonwood. But if Clarkdale and Camp Verde is successful and Cottonwood's successful, we're all successful. And we really want to do that. So I run a business assistance center in Old Town Cottonwood. So I would encourage your listeners and viewers today to come, if they're thinking about starting a business. We have this business assistance center, we call it the BAC.
Back. I've been there, and
The BAC.
and
You've
it
been
is
there.
yes.
And you know that we do training, we do consulting for small entrepreneurial businesses, and the majority of our services are free. And what this is it's a message from the city of Cottonwood, who pays my salary. You met Andrea,
Yes.
who works for me, pay her salary. They provide this beautiful building, and we bring in the Small Business Development Center, we bring in the SCORE organization to help provide services for small entrepreneurial businesses. So I would welcome all of your viewers. If they're thinking about starting a business, come in and talk to us. It's not going to cost them anything. Some of our classes, like if we do a Facebook class or starting your, putting together a business
Marketing
plan,
and-
marketing, those kind of programs, there might be a small $20 fee to take a class, but it's not like you're going to go, it's an introduction, and it's based on helping consult with the small business to help them get off the ground. So it's very, it's not, you don't have to be fearful of it. It's just, we're here to help. And the city of Cottonwood sending that message to everybody in Cottonwood, as well as the Verde Valley, to come and use this service. So it's a big time investment on the part of Cottonwood. And I so much appreciate it. And so that's why I'm here today. I mean, yesterday I was working. Today I'm working. 7 days a week I've been working. But fortunately I have a great job. I love what I do. I love the people I work for, the city, and the people that come in always have a creative idea. So I love hearing about their business ideas. What else? You know, there are other things we're doing. Right now we're working on a branding project for the city.
What's that?
Branding is who you are as a community. And we've got all kinds of logos and that just confuse people.
Like what?
Well, I work for the Cottonwood Economic Development Council. We have a logo. This is hopefully going to be our new logo. Mm-hmm. And but a brand is not just a logo. A brand is a plan on how to market your community. So we know that in Phoenix, there's approximately 4 million people in that metropolitan area. That is our customer. I mean, if you go into Old Town right now, you walk around, you ask people where they're from, I can pretty much guarantee you that 70 to 80% of those people are out of Phoenix.
Yes.
So we're trying to send a focused message to our customers, who we are. That is what branding is about. It's a plan for marketing your community. And that's what branding is, and that's what we're working on right now. And we haven't finalized it yet, but we're heading that direction. I know that an important element of our community here in the Verde Valley is to be sustainable, to have smart growth in our community. The Verde River is so important to everybody in the Verde Valley. If it wasn't for the Verde Valley, you and I might, if it wasn't for the Verde River,
yes.
You and I might not be here.
Yes.
Because that's what makes this area green, makes it desirable, and makes it beautiful. So that's really important economic tool for me in the Verde Valley. So I don't know another thing that I noticed that we really need in Cottonwood. We've got some very nice hotels. And I think that we're due for another new hotel. We've got nice hotels. But I would like, as the wine industry is emerging in the Verde Valley, we took a trip to a group of us took a trip to Grand Junction, Colorado, which is a wine region.
Yes.
And they've got the Colorado River going through there. And we stayed at the Wine Country Inn. And it has really nice convention conference space that we're kind of lacking in Cottonwood. And I would say probably here in Camp Verde and other places. We have beautiful boutique hotels. I'm not demeaning that by any means, but I go to conferences down in Phoenix all the time.
Yes.
All the time. I was at the League of Cities conference this week. Big, huge conference right downtown, where you pay way too much money for your hotel. You pay way too much money for parking. It's inconvenient. I think people would love to come to the Verde Valley if we had a medium-sized conference center.
Like what size?
Oh, something that I think might handle a conference of 500 people. So, it would be really nice to have a hotel that could handle that.
Yes.
Rather than spread them out. I mean, if you go to Flagstaff for a major conference right now, they have to go to different hotels.
Yes.
You can't all meet in one hotel. And I think that's still going to be the case. We want all of our hotels to be successful in Cottonwood. We don't want to take business away from them. We just want to grow the pie. We want to make the pie bigger. And if we could bring more conferences into our community, we would fill up this wine country inn that I'm talking about that has the conference space, that has vineyards all the way around it. It'd be just such a neat place. And all the other hotels would be winners at the same time. I don't want to take from Peter to pay Paul. I want everybody to grow. So that brings me right back to the definition of economic development. It's better jobs, it's a better quality of life, and it's creating wealth for the people in our community. And we have to have diversity.
Diversity,
We have to have manufacturing and tourism and technology and infrastructure like broadband and things like that. So those are the kind of things that I'm pushing in this community. And I've been doing a lot of talking, and I bet we're getting pretty close to winding down here. I don't know, but do you have any other things that I haven't hit that you would like me to talk about?
When I go to back, is you at the front desk. Andrea's so friendly.
Yeah.
And I've attended some of your classes. I've attended the marketing, Facebook, and they are very, very good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
And I was impressed with the people that present, the presenters.
Yeah.
Where do you get them from?
Well, this is the other thing. I'm all about partnerships. So I don't want to just take all the credit. I want other people to be real successful and get a lot of the credit. So we have partnerships with Yavapai College, the Small Business Development Center. So we have really good resources at our fingertips. Yavapai College wants to partner with us. We want to partner with them. So some of our instructors come right from Yavapai College. And so, if you need more experience, you need an associate degree, go to Yavapai College. If you need some business assistance on a short-term basis, come to the Business Assistance Center, because we will still be partnering with Yavapai College and the Small Business Development Center. So that's where those resources come from. We have people coming from Flagstaff teaching classes, from Prescott.
Yes.
We just look for the best people we can possibly find to do our training.
Yes.
We're not looking for bottom of the barrel, the cheapest people we can find. And we don't have unlimited resources. We can't afford too much. But we try to bring the best we can possibly bring into the Business Assistance Center, the back.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah.
And the classes are usually 10 to 12 people.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah. And if they're any bigger than that, we have a beautiful conference room in our building. If they're bigger than that, we'll go to another facility that the city owns, or we might go to Yavapai College to have the class. Like if it's 30, 40 people, we don't have it at our facility. But another thing I want to tell you about our facility is we have it's like a little incubator. And if you are running a business out of your home, and you want to have a meeting where somebody's coming up from Phoenix or somewhere like that, but you don't want to have it at your home, come to our facility.
You can?
Yeah, we have a beautiful, you've seen our
Yes,
facility. Really
yes.
nice, right? We also have office space. We have a couple offices that are available right now, very reasonably priced, not free, but you could run your business out of there at a very, very inexpensive rate for maybe 6 months or a year to get off the ground at a very low risk environment where you've got, like you said, Andrea in the front office who's very pleasant, will help you. And we provide, a lunchroom and electricity and plumbing and
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi and light. Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Yes.
I'm glad you bring that up. Lights, a building to run a business at a very inexpensive rate. Our mission is to help you get off the ground to be successful. Once you're successful, you'll leave and graduate from the Business Assistance Center, and then you'll go out into the local market and pay local market rates. But our mission is just to help you get off the ground so you grow from one person to 3 people, and then 10 people, and 20 people. So that's what I mean about entrepreneurship. we want to help the small guy get off the ground and be real successful. And this is a good way to help make that happen. So that's kind of the story of the back.
Yeah.
And that's the story of economic development. And it's the story of making the Verde Valley successful. I work for Cottonwood, but I work real closely with Steve Ayre for Wessel Hoff over in Sedona, and we're all the Verde Valley. And we really want to be successful, and we're being, I think, pretty smart about doing that. And, you know, there's always people that, you know, you're not going fast enough. You're not successful enough. But, you know, you got to keep in mind that we went through a terrible recession, and we're coming out of it, and we've got a really good foundation built, and we have nothing but a good future ahead of us.
The tourism, you're taking part of Sedona's.
You know, here again, we're growing the pie. We're
Yes.
not taking anything from Sedona, because Sedona has, I would say they've got more than enough of their fair share.
I think so.
They're successful despite us, and we're taking their overflow. You know, there's times when there's traffic jams in Sedona, and they're sharing their wealth with us, and we appreciate the success that Sedona brings to the Verde Valley. So it's not just about Camp Verde, Clarkdale, and Cottonwood. Thank God for Sedona. You know, I mean, your program is called Focus on Hope. And I'm all about focus on success and focus on hope, and thank God for Sedona being successful, because they're sharing their success with us. But we have to live up to that reputation, that expectation. When people come here to Cottonwood from Sedona, they got expectations.
They do.
And we've got to step up our game. Just like Camp Verde has to step up their game, and Clarkdale's stepping up their game. And Jerome is too. So, you know.
Jerome is beautiful.
It is. And we were missing the boat in Cottonwood because they were going around Old Town. Now, when the concierge in Sedona, and people come to them and go, what else is there to do? Where should we go? They'll say, well, make sure you go to Old Town Cottonwood. Make sure you go to Jerome. Make sure you go to Clarkdale and Camp Verde, because we all have really neat things to offer. And we're all stepping up our game a little bit, and we're going to be a world-class destination.
Oh my goodness!
If your viewers today, I would encourage them to get Phoenix Magazine. It just hit the streets. Phoenix Magazine is all about, the front cover is about the wine industry in Arizona, and the wine industry is becoming a big industry. It's a huge industry in California. And we were just sort of, again, missing the wine industry boat. But the wine industry, the entrepreneurs, the wineries, the vineyards, the people that, you know, I'm not going to take credit for that, because there's some really smart people out there that are making this industry grow. And we're wrapping our arms around that whole industry. And it's going to be, and so the Phoenix Magazine, this edition, has a big huge spread on the wine industry in Arizona. And they break it down into 3 regions. We're one of the regions. And Cottonwood is really into and supporting the wine industry, because it brings a lot of income into our community. And these people that work at Page Spring Cellars, they need electricians, they need plumbers, they need people to make wine, they need educated people. And by the way, Yavapai College has one of the only viticulture programs in the state of Arizona. And so the Southwest Wine Center at Yavapai College, if your viewers haven't been there, go check it out. It's helping to put the Verde Valley on the map from the wine perspective, that's bringing money and jobs into our community.
That's good.
It's all good, yeah. Yeah, it's all fun. It's a lot of work, but it's good, like you said.
What brought you here?
Well, I worked with business and industry all over the country. I'm an Ohio boy, born and raised, worked in Findlay, Ohio, where I was raised, went to Toledo, to Detroit, to Chicago, to LA, and now I'm here. I tell my wife, I'm never moving again. I'm perfectly happy doing what I'm doing. And all this working with business and industry over the years has helped me to understand big industry, small industry, how to help the small entrepreneur grow their business. I've been there, done that, and I'm just real happy doing what I'm doing. And it's really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Be here today.
And it's a
too.
pleasure. Thank you very much for being a guest.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I'll come back anytime.
Okay.
And you come and visit me again at the back, and I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today and for this edition of Focus on Hope. My name is Eve Moffett. Goodbye.